This video is designed for publishers and publisher users. We'll look at how to create an assessment product in Content Manager. We'll also look at how to create the question set and test structure for the product. Finally, we'll look at how to assign users to the product so they can write content. You can access the Content Manager by selecting it from the Section drop-down menu. If you don't see the Section menu, contact your administrator so you can be added to a product as a project manager. Content Manager consists of the Products pane, the Assignees pane, and the Editor pane. To create a new product, click the Options menu in the Products pane. Then click New Product. In the New Product dialog, you start by specifying where the product will be stored. Because I had the chemistry folder selected when I clicked New Product, that is the folder selected in the product organization tree. Be sure that you have the correct folder selected. You can't move the product to another folder after it is created. If you create it in the wrong folder, you'll have to delete it and create it again in the correct folder. I'm going to create an algebra product, so I don't want it stored in the chemistry folder. I want it saved in the mathematics folder, but that folder doesn't exist yet, so I will click New Folder and create the folder. In the New Folder dialog, I'll name the new folder Mathematics. Since the chemistry folder is selected in the New Product dialog box, if I click OK now, the folder will be created as a subfolder within the chemistry folder. I want my folder to be at the same level as the chemistry folder, not inside it. So I'll click the Place Folder at Root option so that the new folder isn't a subfolder. I'll click OK to create the new folder. In the New Product dialog box, the folder is created and selected. You can click the New Folder button multiple times if you want to create subfolders within existing folders. Keep in mind that these folders are for publishers only and that the instructors will not see them. My next step is to give my product a title. If your products have edition numbers, it's important to include the edition number in the title so that instructors can tell the products apart. There are fields to store other information about the book, such as edition, copyright year, author, and website. These fields are not required and are not seen by instructors. In addition to the title, the only other required field is the ID ISBN. You can enter your own ID or an ISBN or have the system generate an ID. The type of ID you use depends on your company's implementation of the system. If you're unsure what to use, contact your Client Relations Manager or System Administrator. Since the ID or ISBN is a primary identifier for the product, it cannot be changed through the interface after the product is created. If you create a product with the incorrect ID or ISBN, contact your Client Relations Manager. For my product, I'm going to use a generated ID. After I've completed everything on the General tab, I'll click OK. After I click OK, my Mathematics folder is added and the algebra product is inside it. I'm signed on as Jim Training, so you can also see that my name appears in the Project Managers folder in the Assignees pane for the product. We'll talk more about assignees in a little bit, but it's important to know that anytime you create a new product, you will be assigned to it as a project manager. This allows you to control the structure of the product and who else is assigned to it. We've created our product, but it doesn't have any question sets or tests in it yet. So let's open it and start creating the structure for the product. I'll right-click the product and select Open Product. With the product open, we can see that there are no question sets or tests. Let's click New and start adding some containers for our questions. We can create question sets, tests, and folders. Question sets are collections of questions that instructors can use to build a test from. They are usually arranged in chapters or sections that match the textbook or a course. Tests are also a collection of questions, but they can be assigned to students as online assignments or printed out and given to students as printed tests. You can provide just question sets and allow instructors to create their own tests. You can provide pre-built tests and no question sets, or you can provide a combination of the two. You can also create folders that contain question sets and tests. Let's start by creating a question set. First, we'll give our question set a name. Next, we need to choose a language for the set. You need to select at least one language. If you select multiple languages, you will be able to toggle between languages in the test generator and enter translations of the content. I'll select English and then click OK. The steps for creating a test are the same, except that we'll select Test from the new drop-down list. I'll enter a title, then I'll select a language and click OK. If you know the number of sets and tests you're going to need, there is a faster way to add question sets and tests. Let's click the Details button. Then we'll click the Content tab. On the Content tab, you can generate question sets and tests. This tab is also available in the New Product dialog, so you can auto-generate your question sets and tests when you're creating your product. Let's suppose that my product is going to have 5 chapter question sets. So I'll select the Auto-Generate Empty Question Sets checkbox. I want all of my question set titles to start with the word chapter. I'll change the number of question sets to 5. I also want to create 5 tests named Test 1, Test 2, and so on. I'll click OK. Now I have my 5 chapter question sets and 5 tests. Notice that because I already had a test named Test 1, I have a duplicate because I auto-generated tests that have the same naming scheme. When auto-generating sets and tests, it is best to do that before you've created any containers. For example, suppose I decide that I need 3 more chapter question sets. If I go back to the Content tab of the Product Details dialog and generate 3 more sets with chapter as the title, I'll end up with 3 pairs of question sets with the same name. Whenever you're auto-generating containers, the numbers will always begin at 1. Therefore, it's best to auto-generate containers when you first create the product. Since no one has added any questions to these sets, I'll go ahead and delete the duplicates. In addition to question sets and tests, you can also create folders within your product. In most cases, you won't need folders. However, if there are a lot of question sets or tests, it might be helpful for instructors if the content is collected in folders. From the New drop-down list, I'll select Folder. Let's suppose that my product is organized into units and Chapter 1 and 2 are in Unit 1. To create a folder, all you have to do is enter a title and click OK. Now I have my folder, but it doesn't have anything in it yet. To add sets to a folder, I need to edit the question set and specify the folder. I'll start by selecting Chapter 1. Then I'll click Edit. The Child Of field in the Edit Question dialog box allows you to specify which folder the set is in. Notice that it is currently in the root of the product. Let's click Unit 1 to assign the question set to that folder. Notice that the Chapter 1 set has Unit 1 in front of its name, indicating that it is in the Unit 1 folder. Now we just have to edit Chapter 2 and assign it to the Unit 1 folder. Let's see what the structure we created looks like in Test Generator. We can see the mathematics folder I created for my product in both the question sets and tests pane. If I expand the mathematics folder in the question sets pane, I can see the Algebra 1 product folder. In the Algebra 1 folder, I can see chapters 3 through 5 at the root level because I didn't assign them to a folder. If I expand the Unit 1 folder, I'll see the two sets that I assigned to that folder. If I expand the folders in the tests pane, I'll see a similar structure. All of my tests are at the root level, and the Unit 1 folder is empty because I didn't put any of my tests in that folder. You'll notice that the Unit 1 folder appears in both the question sets and tests pane. So when you're giving a folder a title, be sure to consider if it makes sense in both panes. For example, a folder named Unit 1 Tests could be confusing to instructors because that folder will appear in both the question sets pane and the tests pane. Now that we have our structure created, let's look at how we can assign users to a product so they can create content. The assignees for a product are listed in the Assignees pane. There are 3 roles: project managers, authors, and reviewers. A user's role is defined at the product level. Notice that as I click the different products, the assignees' roles change. Users will be able to interact with the content in a product in different ways depending on their role. The highest role is a project manager. A project manager can work on content for the product in the test generator, as well as make changes to the product in Content Manager, which means that they can create sets, tests, and folders, as well as add assignees and make other changes. When you create a product, you are automatically added as a project manager for that product. The next role is an author. Authors can work with the product in the test generator, creating and editing content and question information. But authors cannot make any changes to the product in the Content Manager. Reviewers can open question sets and tests in the test generator, but can't make any changes to the content. Assignees listed in the Available folder have no rights to the product at all. It's important to remember that an assignee's role is at the product level, so you could be a project manager on one product and an author on another. To change an assignee's role for a product, select the product in the Products pane, then drag the assignee to the appropriate assignee folder. Now Jane has author access to my Algebra 1 product and can write and edit questions, but can't make any changes to the product in Content Manager. Now I have the structure for my product and I have people assigned to it. So now we can begin creating content. So that's how you create a product and assign new users to it so that they can start writing content.